Hey everyone, good morning. I'm at my mom's house this morning. It's pretty early in the morning and we're getting ready to take a little trip to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. But it smells so beautiful. Oh my gosh, walking past these lilacs, it just smells so good. And then we have the little apple trees, the crab apple trees and the blossoms. And it's just a beautiful morning. It's pretty chilly. It's in like, I don't know, the high 40s, I think, which I'll put Celsius up there, but it's going to be getting a bit warmer, definitely a lot warmer as we head down from New York to Pennsylvania. It'll definitely get warmer. Hey everyone, so I got back from my trip to Lancaster with my mom and my aunt and the whole bus trip where I was the youngest person by a good 20 years, 25 years, and it was really fun. The first day we were there, as you could see, we just kind of shopped around. We went to a farmer's market and then we had some time to relax at the hotel before we went to this amazing buffet style dinner place called Miller's. It was so good. It's a little pricey, but it was delicious. There were so many food options. I really loved it there. And then we all hung out at the hotel bar afterwards. It's just so fun. I love spending time with my mom and my aunts and uncle. They're all older. My mom's a young mom, so she's only about 65, but my aunts, they're in their 70s and they're just so fun to talk to. I love having this time with them. I know we're all not going to be together forever, so I'm really glad I can take that time and be with them. They're just fun. And then the second day we went back to the Sight and Sound Theater and we saw Moses, and that was really good too. These productions are so good. Even if you're not into the biblical aspect of it, the quality of the shows are really, really good and they're really moving. I didn't love Moses as much as I loved David, which I saw back in the fall. I think I had footage from that from one of my blogs, but it was just really good. It was just a fun break. It was during the week, so it was one of those trips that everybody else in the world was working and I had the days off, which was nice. So it was a really fun trip. I didn't get any reading done, unfortunately, but I'm going to pick back up to Peach Blossom Spring, I think, while I'm out here on my walk and see if I can get back into it. I'm just having a hard time a little bit connecting with the narrator, so I'm going to give it one more try, and if I don't like it, I'll probably just DNF it and move on, but we'll see. So I decided to DNF Peach Blossom Spring. I was listening to it tonight on my walk, trying to get back into it, and I think that I'm really gonna like this book. It's just that I can't quite get on with the narrator, I guess. I don't know what it is, if it's her actual voice, the sound of it, or if it's the way she's telling the story. I don't know. It's really hard for me to get into this book, but I do want to give it another chance. So whenever I can get a copy of the actual book and read it, I am going to come back to it. But unfortunately, I did DNF Peach Blossom Spring. I think it's going to be really good though. And I guess I need like a little more light audiobook to kind of enjoy, because I've been just struggling to get into it a little bit. So I'm almost done with Passport to Frankfurt, and this book is, I don't know, it's not that good. It really isn't. I guess everybody was right. And I just don't know what's going on. The story's all over the place. It's like we follow this main character, Stafford Nye, and then about the halfway through the book, he's just gone. We're following like this other group of diplomats or ambassadors. I don't even know what they are, but all of a sudden we've switched over to talking about how the young people in Europe are just destroying the world and they're going to put a stop to it. And there's this woman named Charlotte who's involved, and then I don't know what's going on, but I'm almost done with it. I'm getting through it. I like her writing, it's Agatha Christie, so there's that element there, but I don't know. I can definitely see why this is some people's least favorite of her books. So still getting through Light of the Jedi really slowly. If I wasn't reading this along with my brother, I probably would DNF this as well. It's just not really capturing my interest. It's not bad. It's just, I think I need to just sit down and get through it in longer sittings, because I'm just kind of reading a chapter or two a day and I'm not really getting fully into it. So that might be a priority once I finish Passport to Frankfurt. So that's on my list. I'm going to keep looking out for a new audiobook to listen to. Just going to wait to see if one of my holds comes in from the library and just keep going from there. I hope you guys are having a little bit better of a reading month than I am so far though. Good morning. It's a beautiful Saturday before Mother's Day. My little hosta garden is starting to come back to life. Hoping to get a few flowers to plant in these little planters this weekend. That one I should probably pull. It looks like it's on its last leg. But today we have a day full of softball. It's our daughter's Little League opening day, so we have to be there for most of the day. Probably won't get much reading done, but just wanted to show you it's so beautiful out. Oh, so happy it's not winter anymore. So we're in between games at the Little League opening ceremonies day, and I'm just killing some time. There's this gorgeous little nature trail at this town park that we're at. It's so nice and pretty. There's a little stream. Yeah, so my daughter should be playing in about half an hour or so, but for now, she's gonna go for a walk, as usual. Okay guys, just a couple quick updates. I have about an hour left of reading time for The Magician's Nephew, and that book's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. It's not too bad. Light of the Jedi, I started to focus on now that I'm done with Passenger to Frankfurt, and that is actually getting a lot more interesting. The plot has moved forward quite a bit. My one complaint though is that there are way too many storylines going on, and just when you get invested in one of them, the next chapter switches again. So that's probably my only complaint. I like the writing. I like the characters. There's one storyline that I'm really liking a lot, which is the characters of Loden and Bell, his Padawan Jedi protege, and there's some action happening with these evil galactic warriors called the Nihil, which are just these ruthless killers, and they're invading this one planet and this town. And so we're kind of getting more of a plot now. Now that they've kind of taken care of the main issue from the first half of the book, we're sort of moving forward. So I am really enjoying that. Light of the Jedi. And what else am I reading? Oh, and Remarkably Bright Creatures. So this book is my audiobook right now, and I'm really loving it. I love the audio narrator. We are following two main storylines. One, we have Tova, who's a 70-year-old widow who lost her only son when he was 18, and we're dealing a lot with her grief and her loss. And she works the nighttime shift at their local aquarium as a cleaning lady, and she makes friends with this octopus named Marcellus, who we actually get a point of view from. His character is so funny, and the voice actor that portrays him, just think like Kelsey Grammer and Frasier. That's kind of the voice and the mannerisms we're getting for him. Super interesting type of story. And we're also following 30-year-old Cam, who was abandoned by his mom when he was young, and he doesn't know who his father is, and he's on a mission. He's kind of like down on life right now. He lost his job, his girlfriend threw him out. He just can't get his act together, but he's really sweet. He's really likable. And the voice narrator that does both Tova and Cam, she does a really great job for both of them. She sounds a lot like the actress Jennifer Morrison, I think that's her name. She plays Emma from Once Upon a Time, which I'm watching with my daughter, so I think maybe that's why her voice sounds, so I just think of her when I hear the voice. But she does a really great job with the voice acting for those two characters. And we're seeing this unlikely friendship happen between certain people and certain characters, and it's just like a feel-good. I'm really enjoying it. It's not the most exciting plot in the world, but it's really well written. I love the writing, and it's just really interesting. I'm excited to see where that goes. So that is my reading update for now. So we are camping just for an overnight. It's the following day actually, and this campground is so beautiful. It's located in the Catskill Mountains in upstate New York, and it's just so pretty and quiet and peaceful. And we got to test out our new camper last night. It was really fun. We had such a great time, and it was nice that our two girls really spent a lot of time together, and they played cards and they were playing softball and just really bonding, which they haven't done in a while, just with our busy schedules and stupid phones and all that stuff. So it was really nice to have everyone be together and enjoy the nature, and just so nice. And I finished Passenger to Frankfurt last night. I don't even know what to say about that book, you guys. It's my first Agatha Christie. I knew going into it that it was probably one of her least popular books, kind of one of her most poorly written, I guess a lot of people say. And I didn't think it was horrible. I don't have anything to compare it to, so that's kind of why I'm going backwards. But it was just a really weird plot. I didn't quite follow what was going on. I think if I read it over again, I would get more of it, but it was fine. I liked her writing in terms of like some of the little quirkiness she had and the coziness. But I'm excited to keep going with her and to try out, some of her better books. So that was fun. And we're gonna get ready to head back to our campsite and pack up shortly. But I just wanted to show you this beautiful little wooded area that leads down to this creek. Everything is so green, there's moss, and it's just so pretty. There's a little swimming hole over here, which I'll show you. So here's the little swimming hole. You can fish here if you want as well, if no one is swimming. And unfortunately we didn't bring our bathing suits because it was just a quick trip, and it was raining all day yesterday, and I didn't think that it was going to be warm enough, but I regret it. I know my daughters would have probably gone swimming, but really beautiful. So I'm back home from our camping trip. It was really fun. It was only one night, but it was just so fun. And I always think this whenever I get home after any kind of trip or vacation. I feel so lucky to come home to this beautiful farm. It just makes the sting less painful, I guess, of coming home. There's always that little feeling of being sad. Tomorrow is Monday, so it's back to work, but it's just, I am so thankful to live here. I'm curious for any of you guys that live in cities or suburban areas, if you ever wish you could be in nature. I don't know if I could ever live in a city or a suburb. I think I just need the nature and the space. That's just me personally. I know it's not for everyone though. But yeah, I'm trying to think. So book-wise, I definitely want to finish up The Magician's Nephew, the last book that I have to read in the Chronicles of Narnia series. It's pretty good. I am enjoying it, I will say. It's not bad. I think it's definitely better than The Last Battle, so I'm excited to finish that one up. I'm a little over halfway through that. And then I really want to finish Light of the Jedi as well. I'm going to try to binge finish that one, so I can be done with that and decide whether or not I want to move on with the series. And then the audiobook that I started listening to again is the Remarkably Bright Creatures. And that one's pretty good. I'll try to listen to that during work this week and hopefully get through that. I have so many holds from the library, so many audio holds that are coming in. I have to keep deferring them. So I do have a good list of books coming in as well. So yeah, I just wanted to share this beautiful, peaceful time on the farm. I'm just gonna go up that hill to the tree line and back just for a quick walk after dinner. Hope you guys are all doing well. Okay, so I just finished Remarkably Bright Creatures today and just wanted to record my immediate reaction. I think that sometimes I have an initial reaction and then over time it changes a little bit. So yeah, Remarkably Bright Creatures. I don't know what to say about this. It was a good book. Like it was fine. I was just a little bit disappointed. I think I had hyped this up a little bit more in my mind. When I went on Goodreads, it had these glowing, raving reviews about how it was some people's favorite book. They loved it. I just found that there were parts of the book that I really, really liked, but the story as a whole, I don't know. I was a little underwhelmed. I wouldn't say it's bad at all. It's definitely not bad at all. The writing is nice, but I wouldn't say that it was like phenomenal. It didn't blow my mind or anything. It's not a book that I think I will be purchasing. It was kind of like a one and done. Happy with that. Maybe I've just read a couple really phenomenal books recently, and I think maybe I'm in a little bit of a reading slump, but either way, the book was okay. I didn't really have a huge emotional connection to our main characters except for Marcellus, the character of the octopus. That part was really well done. So the book, I guess I would say it's literary fiction maybe with some magical realism. So the real gem of the story is this point of view of an octopus, a giant Pacific octopus that's living in an aquarium, and it is observing these two people interacting. Our main character, Tova, who's a 70-year-old widow who's gone through a ton of trauma, and well, not trauma, but she's gone through some loss and grief. So one of the main themes of the book is dealing with this loss and this grief, losing her son when he was 18 years old to a presumed suicide, and kind of trying to figure out that mystery. And then she recently lost her husband to cancer, and then she just lost her brother, her only living relative. So she's dealing with loss, and she's dealing with that fear of aging and no one there to take care of her anymore, and what she should do. And then we have Cam, our 30-year-old male character, who's just a bit lost. He was raised by his aunt because his father was never on the scene, and his mom left. She had a drug addiction, and she left him when he was 9. So the story focuses on those two characters, and I thought that the author maybe could have done a little bit better job in giving them more substance. I probably liked Tova's character a little bit more than Cam. I can see how he could be kind of unlikable. He's 30 years old, and I kept having to remind myself of that because he just seemed much younger the way his dialogue was. He was like a little bit like dude bro in some of the ways that he talked a little bit. Not completely deplorable or anything like that, but overall, the story was just okay. I would probably, at this point, my initial reaction would give it like a 3.5, probably 4 stars, just because of the uniqueness of the perspective of the octopus. That was the one I was most emotionally invested in. Like, I got a little teary-eyed with him. I wish we got more of his perspective, honestly. And the story did wrap up pretty nicely. It was a feel-good ending. So yeah, if the premise sounds interesting to you, you will probably like it, because I think I have a little bit of an unpopular opinion when I check on the reviews. Almost everybody else gave it 5 stars, 4.5, 5 stars. So definitely a book to check out if you would like. It's not super long, so I found that the audiobook was pretty quick to get through. And maybe, again, I'm a little bit skewed because I listened to this on audio as opposed to reading it. So I know sometimes that can really affect how you enjoyed the story. I did like the narrator though. She was good. She was definitely an actress. I mean, you could tell that she had acting history and talent. And I think her name is, what was her name? Something Ireland, Marlon Ireland, I think. She's on something. The name sounds familiar, but I thought she did a good job. So yeah, I just wanted to record my immediate thoughts on Remarkably Bright Creatures. It did have some really nice points, and I did get a little teary-eyed throughout the book, but I just wouldn't say I was hugely invested in the characters, and the plot for me felt a bit slow-paced. So maybe some pacing issues for me personally, but I think I'm going to end the vlog here, and because I finished a few books, and we'll go from there. So I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you guys soon.